Welcome back to Hey Kentucky. We're going to recap what was the UK basketball season. It should have been ending sometime around 11:30 tonight. That would have been ideal, but it didn't. And so let's talk about the highlights. And there were a couple lowlights of the year. And the low light that really comes to mind is that first game of the season, Drew.
34-point loss, I believe it was. 34, is that right? You know, when you get so high, it kind of doesn't matter.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Duke put it on them pretty bad that first game. And for me, what hurt the most, not that just it was Duke, it was so bad, but after the Bahamas, we thought we had a team that was, you know, not 40-0, but going to put together quite a year. Didn't think too many losses would be on the schedule. I thought they were going to beat Duke, not even close to beating Duke. Not even for a minute in that game did they look like they could play with Duke. Worst possible way to start off the season.
It was the worst possible way. And because of that, I feel like it took about 10 or 12 games before fans even got on board with these guys. And so once they started winning, it was a little bit more of a beloved team. But for a while, it was like all football all the time.
Yeah, let's be honest. I'll admit it. I think every fan can admit it. It wasn't until December that we were really on board with basketball.
I was waiting till after New Year's Day when, I mean, we beat Louisville, yes, but then I was still in football mode.
I think a lot of it was football mode. A lot of it was the heartbreak of getting crushed by Duke and Coach K and Zion. After all summer, the narrative was Duke kind of, you know, took Kentucky's place in recruiting. But, I mean, Transylvania in the first exhibition game was scoring at will on Kentucky. Those were an ugly first couple of months before they turned it around.
And I think the key to the turnaround is we saw the development of P.J. Washington. You knew he came back to get better this year, and then the first 10 to 12 games, you didn't see much improvement, and then it was like, bam, he turned it on. And you couldn't stop him from that point forward. Yeah,
Coach Cal said it all started in practice. P.J. used to finish middle of the pack in drills. He started finishing first in drills, and as soon as that started happening, it immediately translated to the court. I hate to put it on one Quade Green, but I think there is a direct correlation to Quade leaving and P.J. getting serious behind the scenes. I don't know if they were just, you know, I don't want to call them lazy. I don't know what was going on, but it is pretty obvious that the day Quade left, a light kind of turned on for P.J., and he was great from there.
And it became this thing where he'd go to the left block and he could not be stopped. So he certainly helped himself. Where do you see him maybe falling in the draft?
They're talking lottery now.
Yeah.
Really, he would have been.
I think he is a lottery pick.
Yeah, consensus All-American. I think the 9th under Coach Cal, which is absurd at UK. But, you know, PJ, kind of like the team, first couple months, we thought he'd come right in and dominate. He took a while to get going, finishes as an All-American Player of the Year candidate. I think he would have been Player of the Year if they'd won a few more games. But PJ was special this sophomore season.
Absolutely. And then you got Tyler Hero, who probably coming in, not too many people were thinking this guy's one and done. I think he is now for sure.
They got him at top 20 now. If he's top 20, I think you got to go with that. Tyler, I think maybe his defense might have been the most impressive turnaround of the season. You talk about the team as a whole, and PJ figured it out. Tyler was awful defensively in the beginning of the year, and then you flash forward to the Wofford game. He's assigned guarding the best three-point shooter in the country, and you know holds him to 0 for 12.
Yeah.
Tyler came in as a shooter, and we got to see so much more from him. You know, he could attack, he could pass, defend. I was impressed by his all-around game.
Of course, things didn't end the way we wanted it to, and now it seems like that's back-to-back years. It doesn't seem like it. It is back-to-back years where we maybe have this wide-open path to get there, right? What do you make of that? Is that just I think it's just the randomness of the tournament. Sometimes things don't go your way, but are you on board with all the criticism kind of that this team took?
I mean, this was kind of an Elite Eight team all along, especially with the injuries. The offense seemed to get confused. I think if you lose to North Carolina in that game, fans aren't nearly as upset. But it's Auburn, a team you beat twice. Although Auburn was killing teams, won 12 straight at that point. It's tough. We're seeing how random the tournament is. Virginia's in the title game tonight, and they needed 2 miracles to get that far. Auburn was in the Final Four and should have lost in the first round.
They were the UConn team that beat us.
Yes. It's just a split second here, bounce of the ball there. It changes the entire tournament. So I'm not as upset as many fans are with how it fell out.
This double dribble call here or there, all in all, what would you give the season?
We're going to give it like a school grade.
Let's give a school grade.
I'll give it a B+. You make the Final Four and you're an A. Just fell a little short, especially like I just said with Auburn being there. A lot of fans only judge the season on did you win a title or not. And that's fine. That's a prerogative. I'm more of how fun was it as a whole. Start with the Bahamas when they were killing professionals. This team had a lot of great personalities off the court. We really got to know them. I had a blast following it. I think it's a successful season. Wish it had gone more weak, but you know. It happens.
Yep, I'm with you on the B+. I did have fun with these guys. I wish some of them were coming back. I know they're not, but I do think we're going to see some of these guards back again next year.
Ashton Higgins needs to come back.
He does need to come back, and his defense will lead us hopefully to that Final Four.